All right, this video is going to be about how to modify your BarCodeOS scanner. It does UID validation for the new ATA Spec2000 rules related to length of part number and serial number. So in UID barcodes, you can have three different families of prefix values that you can use to create these data matrix codes. And two of those families already allow part numbers to go up to 32 characters. Serial numbers up to 30. But there is the commercial aerospace family of prefixes that they're called TEIs, and I'm showing them here, right? This family has generally limited its character length for part numbers and serial numbers to 15 characters. Okay, so here's a barcode for UID that I've done that has 15 characters. I'm going to go ahead and scan this application to make sure that my scanner is in that mode. And if I scan down here in this field, I should see the output from that barcode. And it beeps once, and therefore it's valid, right? So if I add a 16th character, and I click down here again, and I scan it, I will now get 4 beeps indicating that it's an error. Now, if I wanted to see what that error report is, here, let's see what we can do here. I'm going to report on error. I'm going to scan this code here, and let's do that again. Yeah, now I'll get an error report to come out, and you can see that there's an error message that says you've got 15 characters max on original part number. Okay, so how do we change that for the new rule that came out in 2020? Well, fortunately, it's not too hard. You can open up a utility that you can download from the CodeCorp site, codecorp.com. Look for Cortex Tools. And I really think the Cortex Tools version 2 is the better product right now. There is the 3, but it does have still some continuing bugs because it's fairly new. You'll get this kind of a message. Go ahead and hit yes, and it will change the driver automatically in your scanner. And there's my scanner. It's a CR1400, so this is an older model, right? And I can go to File Browser. What's really nice about that, I can see all of the files that are in this, or loaded on this scanner. Now there's one in particular that contains all of the rules, the character rules for length and type of character that are allowed for all of these different prefixes used within UID. And we're going to edit that one. All right, so I'm going to look here. Files are uploaded to a desktop folder here, so I'll just highlight that, click on the up arrow, and as soon as it uploads, it's going to open up, I think, WordPad as well and allow me to edit that file, which I can. So you can see I've got an array here. Format 12 prefixes are right here. If you kept going down, you can see the format 6 prefixes are there with 17V and whatever. But we're again, dealing with ATA Spec2000 prefixes. So let's find the one for part number. There are 2, right? There's the original part number, which is this one, and then the current part number, which is this one. And I don't expect you to actually understand what this is. This is just a JavaScript variable, but we're going to go in here and we're going to rewrite the rule so that it's not limited to 15, but rather to 32. And we're going to do the same thing for the PNR variable. So change that to 32. Now within this variable, I also have a little error thing that comes out, and if the scan exceeds or doesn't fit this rule, it's going to spit out an error message. And we need to change that as well. So if it is an error now, it's going to be 32 characters max, right? Same thing here. Instead of 15, 32 characters max. So we do those changes and we're good on part number. Now the serial number one, we have 3 prefixes for serial number. There's SER, UCN, and SEQ. And I will tell you right now there are still some contradictions in the ATA spec. Some say 15, some say 30, and I'm not going to deal with that change right now. But if that does come into play and they kind of clarify what it is, that it should be 15 or should be 30, then you can do the same process to edit this. So now let's go ahead and just save it. We're going to save this file there. You can close it, and we're going to go back into Cortex Tools, hit File Download. I went to ddesktop.uid.json, download it, right? It doesn't take all that long to download it here. When it's done, we're going to unplug our scanner and plug it back in so we reboot it. Okay, so I'm going to close this Cortex Tools program now, unplug my scanner, plug it back in. Since it's a 1400, it'll take a little bit more time to actually boot up, but once it does, we're going to go through the same process here to show that we have now edited our file properly. So I'm going to go up here, start again, scan that code just to make sure I'm running the DoD program. Report on error, I'm going to scan that guy as well. And then I'll come down here and let's start with 15 characters, just like before, and I'll scan, and it comes through and it's fine. So now let's go to 16. Now it should be illegal if it's the old rule, but it's the new rule. So how do I make sure that I really didn't mess that up here? Let's just go back and let's add, that's 10 characters. Oops. And, oh, I messed something up there, didn't I? Let's take that. And I will go, that's 20, that's 30, 31, 32. Let's go down here, scan it. Still fine. Is that 10 characters, 20 characters, 30, 32. Now let's add a 33rd character, and it should give me an error. And it does, okay? It'll come back now with an error message saying that I can do 32 characters max. Same thing would apply if it was construct 1 mark and we had PNR on there rather than PNO. And we can test that really quick here. Let's go in and change this to SER, and I will only use 10 characters there. Oops, got to put it in space. And then I'll change this one down here to PNR. This is not part of the UID for construct 1, right? This is just an extension. So that's 10. And copy 20, 30, 31, 32. Let's leave it like that. And scan. And there it goes. Gives us that UID section here with this as appended data. I'll change that now to 33 characters. And we should see it go to an error. And it does. Okay, so we've done this with one scanner. If you want, you've got a UID.json file already on your system. You can bypass that upload process on the next scanner and simply download that file to every single other CR1400 that you have. And in that way, you'll update your scanners to be able to handle this change in the ATA Spec2000 Chapter 9 rules as of 2020.